That's crazy. All right. So welcome aboard, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started. 7:03. Welcome to the How to Sell More Cars Town Hall. And this is a town hall meeting. This is a town hall meeting, which means two things. You show up and you speak up. I'm going to chat just a little bit, but it's not all about what I got to say. I'm hoping to hear as much from you, if not more, than what I got to say. I want to hear what you guys are doing, what you guys are, what's working for you, what's not working for you in building maximum customer lifetime value. We're going to be talking about maximizing customer lifetime value, building better customer relationships, and creating decades of opportunities. Decades of opportunities. So I'm going to have a bit. I'm going to talk about three things that I think you need to be doing to maximize customer lifetime value. My ideas, but I want to hear from you. So when I get done, I'll open it back up and we'll we'll chat just a little bit. And I'm going to keep you in here for just about 25 minutes. Try to keep everything short. So we're going to be out by 7:30 because I know you got things to do, places to be, and people to see. Michael J. Smith about to go close another car, his second of the day, I think you said. So he's hustling. I'm Terry Lancaster. I'm the author of How to Sell More Cars. I've been helping car dealers sell more cars, helping salespeople sell more cars since the Reagan administration. So that's just a little while. So how to sell more cars. I talk a lot about CRMs, and you all have CRMs that you use to manage your customer relationships, but I don't think they're doing the trick. I don't think there's any customers or relationships in most customer relationships managers that are there to fulfill the purpose of the dealerships. And I'm going to be talking today from the point of view of the dealerships and of the salespeople, because dealers are spending about $600 a copy on advertising and marketing for every new vehicle that goes out the door. $600, and they're spending most of that money, 64% of every advertising marketing dollar that the automotive industry spends is going to digital advertising to create more leads. And for a while, the car business has been more about leads than about the customer. It's about who can get the most leads and how much leads cost and what your conversion ratio on leads. And we're looking at the customers as this number instead of the people. So that's where the $600 go. Meanwhile, dealers spend almost nothing to turn those one-time customers that they've spent so much money to generate. They spend almost nothing to keep and retain them, to bring them back, to create a lifetime customer, to build a relationship that lasts for forever. And it starts, of course, obviously, with the fact that most dealerships have trouble retaining salespeople. You can't build long-term relationships if your sales staff is turning over every year, and the average dealership loses 70% of their sales team every single year. So it's hard to build those relationships one-on-one if you don't have the employee-employer relationship first. So, and it matters because those customers who are coming back, Michael J. Smith was just telling me before everyone popped in that he's got a customer in finance right now that he sold his first car to 14 years ago. So he's built this relationship for 14 years, sold this gentleman multiple cars in the interim. And it matters because these guys who are coming back to you 14 years later or 5 years later or 14 months later or whenever they're coming back, they're easier to close. They're more likely to close. If you want to boost your closing ratio, spend more time working on people who already have a relationship with the salesperson or the dealership because they already trust you. That is built in. You don't have to overcome that hurdle. It's already there. They close with higher grosses just because you don't have to go through all the rigmarole. You're reaching most of the time. You're there earlier with the opportunity before the shopping process begins. If you can ever reach them before they raise their hands, before they start shopping every dime out of every deal, you've got more opportunity to have more gross. And when I talk about this, I never want to get the idea that you want to stick it to your friends. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about delivering a valuable experience that's so valuable, that's so worthwhile that your customer is going to pay you more for it and be happy to do it because you delivered the experience that they wanted to have. You saved them the hassle.
Testing 1 2.
Yeah, whoever you are, we can hear you.
I went and got a 3-letter agency.
All right. So we're talking about giving them an experience that they're willing to pay more for, and customers will pay more for a premium experience because you save them the hassle and the time of going out and finding a new dealership, a new salesperson, simply by being their friend in the car business. And the most valuable thing you can do is be their friend in the car business. So here's the three things I want to talk about for you to get more of these people who close faster, who close easier, and who close with higher grosses. They give you more reviews, more referrals, and more repeat business. And they cost less because you don't have to spend so much money on the advertising. The first thing isn't even a thing because this goes unsaid. You have to deliver the 5-star buying experience. If you want them to come back, if you want them to talk about you, if you want them to have nice things to say about you, you got to give them something to talk about. You got to give them an experience worth sharing, an experience worth remembering, an experience that they want to come back for and get again and again and again. The customer experience is where everything starts. So, and after that, if you want to start building long-term customer relationships, the long-term always starts with the short term. And if you want to build a long-term relationship and create a lifetime of value, you have to own that first week. And I'm not talking about own it by sending them an email out of the CRM after 7 days. I'm talking about own it. You got to call them that before they ever leave the dealership. Make sure they've got your contact information in the phone. Make sure they've got someone's contact information in the phone. If you're the dealership, you want to have their salesperson in there, or if you've got a vice president of customer relations, but whoever you're trying to build the relationship with, that contact needs to be in their phone before they leave. They need to be connected on Facebook before they leave. You need to start with the pictures and the video testimonials before they leave. And then they need another phone call when they get home that day and a text a couple of days later, because you're setting up, you got the CSI scores coming up if you're selling them new cars, and you got to start generating some Google reviews if you sold them some used cars. And all of that stuff is infinitely more likely to happen if you hit them in the first 24, 36, 72 hours. If you're waiting till 2 weeks to ask them for reviews, waiting till the second week to ask them for more referrals, their life has done come and gone since then. They've got other things to worry about. But when you hand them the keys, they're never going to like you any more than they do in that moment. So at that moment, ask them what you need to ask them. Ask them for the referrals. Ask them for the reviews. Call them later that day and make sure they got home okay. Call them a couple days later and see if there's anything that they haven't been able to figure out on their vehicle yet. Make sure they get a thank you card. Thank you. I don't know what happened. It used to be the biggest deal in the Reagan administration was everybody sent cookies and brownies out when you sold a car. That was the CSI thing. I don't know that that's a thing anymore, but I don't know why it ever got. Michael J. Smith got his hands in the air sending out Mike Columbus got his hands in the air saying, I know he sends out the brownies. So I don't ever know why we got away from that, but it works. It works to improve the CSI, and it works to improve that customer relationship. Number two, the second thing, I want you to do whatever it takes to get them in the service department. Number one, get them in the service department before they ever leave the store the day with their car. Someone told me that you just take them back into the back and introduce them to someone. It doesn't matter who you introduce them to, just introduce them to someone in the service department so that they know there's another human being back there who they can know, like, and trust. Another human being that they can place their faith and confidence in. That's going to be more likely to get them back in for a service. And if you can get them back in for service and they trust you enough for their oil changes, then they trust you enough for any warranty work or anything that has to get done, any recalls that have to go in. If you can get them in there and they trust you for that, you're going to be top of the list for who they trust when it comes time to buy another car. Plus, you've got opportunities every single day. Every time they come into the dealership, you've got an opportunity to cement the relationship, to strengthen the relationship, to make the relationship grow stronger. But you have to get them in the service department to do any of that. And number three, this is the biggest thing, is a conscious thing. And this comes from my buddy, Dave Clayton. I wish Dave was in here today so we could talk about this. But Dave Clayton's over in South Carolina at Pawleys Island Ford. And he says the most important thing is to make the mindset that you want to be in that customer's lives. Now, whether you're at the dealer level, the manager level, or the salesperson level, you want to make a commitment that you have a personal relationship, not a commercial relationship, a personal relationship with each and every customer that you have. You want to be in their lives because, buddy, If you want them to be in your lives, if you want them to keep showing up in your life, then you need to keep showing up in theirs. And you need to make a decision that that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be a factor in this person's life for the foreseeable future, and then show up. Show up. Show up on Facebook. When I talk about Facebook, I use that as a proxy for social media, because Facebook is the 800-pound gorilla of social media. Everybody's on it. 87 some odd percent of everybody is on it, and it's the most engaged, most widely things. But whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is, make sure that you connect with them, because that's where they are. First thing in the morning before their feet hit the floor, last thing in the evening before their head hits the pillow, they're on their phone scrolling through, and usually on Facebook looking things. And if you can start showing up in there, you've got the chance to be early. And when I talk with the other thing that gets a lot of attention is what people are posting. Well, I need to be on Facebook and I need to post this, I need to post that. To be 100% honest with you, I'm more concerned with you engaging with what your customers are posting. Because when you're engaging with what they're posting, then you're showing up in their lives, not telling them about yours. You're showing up in their lives. And it also works the way real life does. Facebook sees you acting interested in engaging with this person, then they're going to start showing each other more of your information. Whereas if you're just spamming every day about your deal of the day, then Facebook's just going to bury it and nobody cares. But just like real life, interest goes where interest is given. And the painfully obvious secret of social media is to just be more social. Show up in their life, show up on their birthday with birthday cards, with the American greetings that some of you send out, with videos and phone calls. I know it's in your CRM, and I know you've got the button that you can push that sends 15 people their birthday email for the day, but nobody cares about the email that some robot sent them. They will care if you sent them a personal video and they know it came from you. They will care if they get a birthday card in the mail, because nobody sends birthday cards in the mail. Holiday cards, same thing. Make sure you're sending some holiday cards, showing up in their lives. A Christmas card is going to stay on their refrigerator for a whole month of the year. Birthday cards stay up forever. I swear to God, when I walk into a car dealership and start talking about this idea of sending more cards and showing up in people's mailbox, generally the general manager will walk into his office and grab a handful of cards that I've sent him over the last, him or her over the last 2 or 3 years. I talked to a general manager the other day, and he told me that he's had a postcard that I sent him stapled to the bulletin board across from his desk every day for the last 7 years. So is there a difference between looking at this, Michael Smith with a question? I'll come back to that in a second. I got a couple more things about deciding to be in their lives and showing up. I got another friend who just sends random text. Just on a random Tuesday, she sends, or every day, she sends 4, 5, 10, 20 people, whatever, a text that says, hey, how you doing? What's going on good in your life? How you been? How things are? Has nothing to do with business, has nothing to do with anything, except just catching up. And I read an article 2 days ago in Psychology Today about how much people, you'd be surprised how much people appreciate unexpected attention. If you reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while and they're not expecting it, it makes an overwhelming impression just because of that surprise factor. So send people some texts and messages for no good reason at all. And then every once in a while, ask them the magic question: who do you know who might be in the market for a new or used car? Because it's not necessarily about selling to these past customers that you built the relationships, but every one of them, they have 250 friends on Facebook. Every one of them has a bunch of people that they can reach out to, and probably 2/3 of the people you ever ask that question, they'll know somebody who's been thinking about buying a car, or just had a baby, or just got married, or just was in a wreck. They know someone who would be beneficial for you. So I'm going to open this up. If you got any questions, any comments that you want to add to it, pop in. My first question, if anyone has this, is if you were building a perfect CRM, I kind of badmouth CRMs in there a little while. If you were building CRMs, what would you add to the CRM that you don't have right now? How could you make the CRM better and make it more beneficial for actually building relationships? Whoever wants to pop in there. And I got the question here from Michael. Says, is there a difference between having a dealer rated review and a Google review? Is one better than the other? No. The only thing, the one that the best one is the one that you can get. The best review, and that goes back again that first day, that owning that first week is asking for the review. And most of you have some kind of tool that kind of automates that. Just want to make sure that you follow up. That follow up and actually do it. And whether it's you're asking for a dealer rater review, and dealer rater is good because people are actually going there and people are actually going to Google, but it doesn't matter where they put it as long as they put it. And this is the crazy thing about reviews. And I don't even understand this, but people will trust a review that they read online from a stranger to the same degree they trust a recommendation, a personal recommendation from a personal friend, because it has that kind of impact. I swear, if it's on the internet, then it must be true. So whether it's a dealer rater review or a Google review, the important thing is ask and you get, don't and you won't. Ask early and ask often, and make it super simple for them. Dealer rater has plenty of stuff to do that, and a lot of times I'll do for dealers. I'll create a short link that goes straight to their, because that Google review, to leave the review there is kind of long and convoluted. So I'll create a short link, and I've created QR codes for dealerships where they can you can make asking for that Google review super simple, as easy as putting a card in front of them and say, hey, would you mind leaving me the review? But send them a text with the short link on it. So the best one is the one that you can use and the one that your customers are asking for you. Mike Columbus, did you get your audio problems fixed, buddy?
Yeah, I think I'm fixed now.
All right. So how are things going with you?
Pretty good. It's been a tough year so far.
Yeah.
Our business has shifted from new cars to used cars, but we're hanging in there.
So how is your customer relations? You are the king of this. You've been building them for a while, and you stay in touch. What's working for you in terms of building and getting people back in, or the referrals and reviews?
I think what's working best is some of the personal one-to-ones I'm doing. I'm very well connected in my community with BNI. We have networking events called Green Drinks out here, and another association I'm involved with, the Builders Association. So I kind of like the personal meetings. I do the cards, of course, and I'm in the process of getting an assistant to handle my CRM because it's just not enough time to do it all.
You see your CRM from the store or your personal CRM?
From the store.
Yeah.
It's just insane to keep up. So I have well over 5,000 people in my CRM.
You got 5,000 people in your official bona fide CRM from the store.
Right.
And how could it be working better for you or easier for you that you didn't necessarily need an assistant? If you had to design a perfect one, what would you do?
I guess if you had the power to design the perfect system, you'd get a lot of the garbage out of it that's not necessary. But I get my CRM down to 200 overdue tasks and get the 200 overdue tasks down to 0. Then the next day I've got another 400 overdue tasks. So
yeah,
it's just a never ending nightmare.
That's the battle here.
Yeah.
I'm yelled at every day about my tasks.
Yeah.
Every day. How many do you have in your CRM?
I don't know. I'd be afraid to look. So I mean, because the problem with staying at the same dealership for so long is I have so many people that have gotten sent to me as orphan owners. So there's tons of people that the CRM has only ever contacted.
Right.
Because it's tough enough to stay in touch with people who I've actually sold to. That, so I really only, I don't know. I was going to ask Mike what is he doing about all his tasks and all his different people in his CRM, like who he's keeping in touch with.
So the ones that I primarily keep in touch with are those that purchased a car 3, 4, and 5 years ago. I think those are the ones just to touch base with them and see if they are looking or if they know of anyone looking. And I don't know if you're using VIN Solutions, but I can sort by purchase.
That's who we have.
Yeah. My boss doesn't think I should concentrate on birthday calls so much because they do get the email. And they do.
Yeah, but isn't that a piece of shit email? I mean,
Yeah, well-
I hate that email that goes out.
Well, ours is pretty good, actually. Ours, they get movie tickets and a gift card for the concession stand while they're at the theater. So
Oh, okay. Well, you're much more generous. We they
So my
get an
call is
email
usually-
saying happy birthday.
no, ours is pretty good. And then I'll usually follow up with a call that says, when you come in for your movie tickets, be sure to say hi.
I gotta go for. I'll try and catch you guys in the car. My client's out of finance.
All right, see you,
All
Mike.
right, good. We'll see you, Mike. That's a shame. That would have been a good dialogue.
Yeah. So, that's amazing that your dealership actually has that. It's not just the generic random email that goes out. It actually has some value for the customer.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Anyone? We got about 6 more minutes. 6 more minutes. Does anyone else have a contribution or a question that they want to ask about customer relations, about maximizing lifetime customer value? All right.
Couple questions if you had a minute.
I got all the time in the world, brother. How you doing?
So I'm a big believer also in print marketing. As you know, the send out cards I'm using, trying to come up with a rack card for automotive repair shops and body shops. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, just something that you can take in there and hand to them, and that they can then hand out. I think that's phenomenal. You get that printed right in send out cards. Just design you a postcard and send out card, and then they can post it. Or you could use Vistaprint, which prints them dirt cheap. Or you can use. Yeah, I'm sure you got a relationship to the local printer who can help you.
Right. And then the other thing is the low hanging fruit right under our nose. My office in my house is looking out of our cul-de-sac, and my neighbor two doors down has a new car they bought from one of our franchise stores. So
Yeah.
it's like, man, you can never do enough to keep a relationship going with either your neighbors or others, and you hate those that fall through the cracks like that.
Well, all you can do is all you can do. And all you can do is enough. But, and in terms of the low hanging fruit, one of the things that I try to get everyone to do is make sure everyone in your life, at the bare minimum, knows what you do for a living. They know what you do, where you work, and how you can help them. And that's why I'm such a believer in social media, because it's right there. Facebook is right there, and every time you interact with them and talk about the weekend barbecue that's coming up on the cul-de-sac, or whose dog got lost, no matter what you're talking about, it shows that, hey, I'm here I am, and here's where I work, and here's what I do.
You're right, Terry. I don't know if you saw my post. I guess it was Monday night. I had a party at my house.
Oh, yeah?
And there were 9 CRVs in my driveway. I took a picture of it, but that got 161 likes and a lot of comments. And so it's amazing what'll get the likes and get the comments going.
Yeah, I mean, it's just engagement. And it's no surprise. What gets the engagements and the comments and what gets all that going isn't the latest dance craze on TikTok, and it isn't whether you got flashy or anything. It's the most human content. Every question, every time, every hands down, it's the human content is going to win. And the more personal you can make it, and the more human you can make it, and the more authentic it is, because you've got 9 friends drawing up in your driveway with CRVs. That's just authentic. It's just part of your life, and you're sharing your life with people who you would like for them to share their lives with you. And that's the whole thing about the mindset that I was talking about, is making a commitment to be in their lives, not just in their business.
So Terry, let me ask, are you doing anything with Sendogo and the ability of send out cards to integrate into the CRM?
That's one thing I'm looking at and working at. I actually, now that you mentioned that, I'm going to look up Sendogo, because I don't know what that is. but I've been, of course, I've been using send out cards for years, and from my level, my personal level, for, you know, and the sales training that I do, and also at dealerships, getting dealerships on board, whether it's them actually sending the cards or working with them for me to send the cards in mass. They just send me the list of their cards, but anything I can find to automate that and make it simpler to do, I want to know more about.
So let me tell you one send out card story. It was a customer that left the dealership, didn't purchase, but he was Chinese. I just asked him what was the language he spoke, and he said Mandarin. So I went on Google and got the translation of thank you in Mandarin and sent him a card. And about 2 years later, he came back in, asked for me, and he showed me his file that he had of all the places he had been at. The last item in his file was that card I sent him.
Yeah.
And that's how he remembered me.
And it is powerful stuff. It really is. And people kind of get sick of me talking about it, because I think it is so powerful for that. I mean, send out cards and birthday cards have driven my business for the last 5 years. And I sell to the general managers of car dealerships. That's,
Yeah.
But everyone wants to be appreciated. Everyone likes to be, everyone likes to feel special. And the person that makes them feel special, you know, attention goes where attention is given. It's human.
Are you sending the
relations.
birthday cards out as campaigns?
I sit down once a month and send out. I have a campaign that I send out for birthday cards. So what I'll do is I have the campaign made, and then I go through once a month. But I'm not trying to do 5,000 people. But yeah, that's it, depending on how many you would do. You would get in there.
Well, no, the 5,000 in my CRM, and like Michael said, a lot of those are orphan customers that you get, but
Right.
we don't have that.
So how many you think in your personal CRM, the people that you've sold to that you're trying to keep in touch with?
Well, I have many more because I've always kept all my contacts. So I've never gotten rid. So I don't know how many are local and how many
Right.
did, but
Yeah, I know. And there's a guy here in Tennessee. I got a buddy. He's a sales manager at a Buick GMC store just down the road that I do some training at. He's got a guy that he bought a car from when he was a kid in Virginia. 20 some odd years ago, he bought this car, and he gets a Christmas card and a birthday card from this guy every year for the last 20 years.
what are your thoughts of calendars?
I think I'm a fan of anything that is physical in the physical world, because that there's so much that's not, you know, that's on the email or on social media that is just ethereal, that just kind of smoke. But anything that they can put their hands on that's going to stick around, it fires up different neurons in the brain. It's something that's right there. So I've got my real estate agent just sent me a football schedule today. It's got the University of Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and the Tennessee Titans football schedules on it. It's a magnet, goes on. He sends it out every year in the fall to go on everybody's refrigerator. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, I do too. And in fact, I'm looking for someone that can help me with that.
Yeah,
It's too late now though for the football schedule.
for football, but basketball's coming up. They got basketball's big in Washington. Yeah. So you got that. All right. So 7:31. We're going to wrap it up here. You have anything else to add, Mike, before we go?
No, I'm good.
All right, man. I appreciate you popping in. Clinton, anything you want to add? You're back in there, not driving right now, it looks like.
No, Terry, I just appreciate the invite, man. I enjoyed all the information. This is one of the things that I have yet to master, really. So it was good, a bunch of information. I appreciate it.
All right, happy to do it. Karen Ann, happy to see you. Wave. Thanks for popping in. Feel free to comment. And everyone, if you would like to continue the conversation, I'm at howtosellmorecars.com. I appreciate you stopping in and spending 30 minutes of your evening with me. Now I'll go home and enjoy your families. Everybody be well. Take care. See you next time.
Bye, Terry.